give me a couple of futures that you like the best. Give me one right off the bat for us to talk about.
And we're gonna go with Anthony Edwards, most improved player. I think I've been giving this out for months. I think it was plus 1,000. It's down at plus 850, but I still love it. And I think the main thing is that you have a guy who averaged 20 points last year, and in the postseason, I think he was at 25 points per game. And one of the things that when it comes to most improved player is that you're looking for a guy who can make the leap from a good player to an all-star. And I think a lot of people are looking at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Obviously, you add Rudy Gobert and maybe he doesn't get them over the hump in the playoffs, but he does get them over the hump in the regular season. And, if they win 50 games, Anthony Edwards, as the guy who's the main ball handler on the team and the main wing scorer, he's going to get a lot of credit for that. So I think he makes the leap into all-star category, and I think that gets him the most improved player. So I really like that.
Yeah, we talked a lot about him on our podcast. We did a whole how to bet most improved player. It will not surprise you that Brandon likes. He gave the entire list of guys that you of how strict the requirements are in terms of being on a good team, and then you can just tell he's talking himself into long shot dudes. But he has. We've already bet a couple of it. You can go listen to that episode for some shorter guys as well. He did bet some shorter odds. I like the Anthony Edwards bet. I think it's solid. If you expect the Wolves to be a solid top 4 team, I think it's possible. Like if the Nuggets are not as good, let me put it this way. A bet on Anthony Edwards MIP is in essence also tied to, you should also be betting, or it's at least correlated to a Nuggets under.
Interesting. I didn't think about it like that.
Because I think if the Nuggets are the 3rd seed, right, that probably bumps the Wolves down a little bit. But if the Nuggets are not as good as everyone says, or if Joker does suffer an injury, which he hasn't, knock on wood, in any of the major injury in any of these seasons, and they slide down, and the Wolves are that team that makes that leap. We've been talking about the Pelicans as kind of team that might make that jump. There's a question today. We were on one of the NBA calls for action, and somebody was talking about, should I just bet Zion for most improved right now? It's kind of the same thing with Ja, right? Where Ja was in the MVP conversation, but he won most improved. I feel like Zion's going to have an even harder road to getting most improved, despite maybe having like a better case given what he's gone through with his injury and weight issues for getting where he's at. But Anthony Edwards, I do think is in a prime spot.
My whole thing is, how much more can Zion improve? I mean, you have a guy who averaged 27 points per game, 60% shooting. He's already been an all-star.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the leap? I mean, what do you want him averaging 35 at some point? Like, it's just, that's a lot for me.
Pelicans fans think he can. They think that this.
I mean, if he makes that leap, he's an MVP candidate.
I don't think the voters would ever vote a guy for most improved and MVP. It would be the wildest outcome ever.